students, today I am going to teach you Unit 3.3 Stephen Hawking. Before starting the unit, let's see a small biography of Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, born January 8, 1942, died March 14, 2018, aged 76. Was an English theoretical physicist, cosmologist, and author who was director of research at the Center for Theoretical Cosmology at the University of Cambridge at the time of his death. He was the Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at the University of Cambridge between 1979 and 2009. In 1963, Hawking was diagnosed with an early-onset, slow-progressing form of motor neuron disease, also known as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. They gradually paralyzed him over the decades. After the loss of his speech, he was able to communicate through a speech-generating device, initially through use of a handheld switch, and eventually by use of a single cheek muscle. Hawking's scientific words included a collaboration with Roger Penrose on gravitational singularity theorems in the framework of general relativity and the theoretical prediction that black holes emit radiation, often called Hawking radiation. Hawking was the first to set out a theory of cosmology explained by a union of the general theory of relativity and quantum mechanics. He was a vigorous supporter of the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. He died in 2018 at the age of 76, after living with the disease for more than 50 years. Hawking achieved commercial success with several works of popular science, in which he discussed his theories and cosmology in general. His book, A Brief History of Time, appeared on the Sunday Times bestseller list for a record-breaking 237 weeks. Hawking was a Fellow of the Royal Society, a lifetime member of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, and a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. In 2002, Hawking was ranked number 25 in the BBC's poll of the 100 Greatest Britons.
Stephen Hawking, 8 January 1942. He is an English theoretical physicist, cosmologist, author, and director of research at the Center of Theoretical Cosmology within the Cambridge University. Hawking was the first to set out a theory of cosmology explained by a union of the general theory of relativity and quantum machines. Hawking is an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, that is FRSA, a lifetime member of a Pontifical Academy of Sciences, and a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the US. This lesson gives us an insight about the great scientist, his life, and his works. Now let's start the unit. Stephen Hawking, born January 8, 1942, is a British scientist, professor, and author who has done groundbreaking work in physics and cosmology, and whose books have helped to make science accessible to everyone. Stephen Hawking was born on January 8, 1942. He was a British scientist, professor, and author who has done groundbreaking work, means who has done the work in a way of thinking about new things in physics and cosmography, means the science of the origin and development of the universe. And his books are very helpful to everyone to understand the science easily. At the age of 21, while studying cosmology at the University of Cambridge, he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, means ALS. Part of his life story was depicted in 2014 film The Theory of Everything. When he was 21 years old, he was studying cosmology at the University of Cambridge. At that time, he was diagnosed with ALS. And part of his life story was depicted in 2014 film. The name of film was The Theory of Everything. Over the years, Stephen Hawking has written or co-written a total of 15 books. A few of the most noteworthy include: between those years, Stephen Hawking has written many books or co-written many books, almost 15 books, and most of them are very noteworthy include. In 1988, Hawking catapulted to international prominence with the publication of A Brief History of Time. In 1988, Hawking was catapulted means he launched to international prominence with the publication of A Brief History of Time. In short, informative book became an account of cosmology for the masses and offered an overview of space and time, the existence of God and the future. And that book was very short but very informative book became an account of cosmology for the masses and offered an overview of space and time and the existence of God and the future. The work was an instant success, spending more than 4 years atop the London Sunday Times bestseller list. And that book was in the list of best of sellers books in London Sunday Times over more than 4 years. And the book got instant success. Since its publication, it has sold millions of copies worldwide and been translated into more than 40 languages. And it was also sold millions of copies worldwide over the world and was translated into more than 40 languages. So it was originally written in English but translated into more than 40 different languages. A Brief History of Time also wasn't an easy to understand as some had hoped. For some readers, the book A Brief History of Time was not so easy. It was not actually hard, but some people thought that it was very difficult to understand. So in 2001, Hawking followed up his book with The Universe in a Nutshell, which offered a more illustrated guide to cosmology's big theories. So Hawking wrote ahead with the topic The Universe in a Nutshell, and that book guided to more big theories of cosmologies, and that was easy to understand. In 2005, Hawking authored the even more accessible A Briefer History of Time, which further simplified the original work's core concepts and touched upon the newest developments in the field like string theory. Then after those two books, Stephen authored another book on same topic, The Brief History of Time, and at that time in 2005, he wrote with more accessible method, and that book simplified the original work's core. Core means central or basic concept, was very useful in the development in the field like string theory. Together, these three books, along with Hawking's own research and papers, articulated the physicist's personal search for science's holy grail. With all his three books on brief history of time and along that the research and paper from Hawking's work articulated means from a joint of personal search for science holy grail means a thing which is eagerly pursued or sought. A single unifying theory that can combine cosmology, the study of the big, with quantum machines, the study of the small, to explain how the universe began. After that includes a single unifying theory that can combine cosmology means study of the big and quantum machines means the study of small. So he came with the combined theory to explain how the universe began. It's this kind of ambitious thinking that has allowed Hawking, who claims he can think in 11 dimensions. So from his theory, he claimed that he can think in 11 dimensions, means aspects, features, fact, to lay out some big possibilities for humankind. He is convinced that time travel is possible and that humans may indeed colonize other planets in future. So he also said that time travel is possible and human may indeed colonize. Colonize means send settlers to place and establish control on the other planets in future. In September 2010, Hawking spoke against the idea that God could have created the university in his book The Grand Design. In 2010, Hawking spoke against the idea that God had created the universe. So he was against this statement. Hawking previously argued that belief in a creator could be compatible with modern scientific theories. So what did he say? He argued that there is no creator. No one is like God. His new work, however, concluded that the Big Bang was the inevitable consequence of the law of physics and nothing more. He said that the universe and the world was uh, done by the Big Bang. Big Bang was happened and that was inevitable consequence of laws of physics and nothing more. Because there is a law such as gravity, the universe can and will create itself from nothing. So he said that the universe is created by itself from gravity and such law of theory. Hawking said, spontaneous creation is the reason there is something rather than nothing. Why the universe exists, why we exist. So he said that spontaneous creation, our creation is done and there is only one reason, that there is nothing like creation and why universe exists, why we are exist, why we are there in the universe. The Grand Design was Hawking's first major publication in almost a decade. So from that 10 years, the Grand Design was Hawking's first major publication. Within his new work, Hawking set out to challenge Sir Isaac Newton's belief that the universe had to have been designed by God. So what was Newton's theory? Isaac Newton's theory was that the universe had have been designed by the God, and Stephen Hawking was against that theory. So in new work he challenged Sir Isaac Newton's belief about God simply because it could not have been born from chaos. And why he said that it was not born from chaos, it was made by itself. It is not necessary to invoke God to light the blue touch paper and set the universe going, Hawking said. So, for proving his theory, Hawking said it is not necessary to invoke God to light the blue touch paper and set the universe going. Blue touch paper means sky. At the age of 21, Stephen Hawking was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, means ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. In a very simple sense, the nerves that controlled his muscles were shutting down. So, when Stephen was 21 years old, he was diagnosed with ALS. And in his disease, the nerves that control his muscles were shutting down. At the time, doctor gave him 2.5 years to live. And doctor finally said him that he has a time of only 2.5 years. Hawking first began to notice problems with his physical health while he was at Oxford. On occasion, he would trip and fall or slur his speech. He didn't look into the problem until 1963, during his first year at Cambridge. Stephen Hawking didn't feel any physical problem till his first year in Cambridge. But the first time he felt the problem when he was at Oxford and he was on a trip. There he suddenly fell down and felt slur in his speech, and also it was in 1963 when he felt his physical disability. For the most part, Hawking had kept this symptom to himself. But when his father took notice of the condition, he took Hawking to see a doctor. But he did not tell anyone. He kept it to himself only without anyone get to know about his symptom. But after that his father noticed his situation and took him to the doctor. He took Hawking to see a doctor. For the next 2 weeks, the 21-year-old college student made his home at a medical clinic where he underwent a series of tests. And he went for clinic for 2 weeks and had many tests when he was 21 years old at that time. They took a muscle samples from my arm, stuck electrode into me and injected some radio-opaque fluid into my spine and watched it going up and down with x-rays as they titled the bed. Then the doctor tests many things and then he describes everything he experienced at the medical clinic. During his test, he said that they took some muscle samples from his arm, stuck electrodes into him and injected some radio-opaque fluid into his spine and watched it going up and down with x-rays as they titled the bed. Means it was a bed disease. He once said, after all that, they didn't tell me what I had except that it was not a multiple sclerosis and that I was an atypical case. Then he said the doctor didn't say anything about what he was suffering and they told that it was not multiple sclerosis, means abnormal hardening of body issue, and he was an atypical case, means very unusual case. Eventually, however, doctor did diagnose Hawking with the early stages of ALS. But doctor diagnose, diagnose means detection of a medical condition. So they diagnosed the Hawking that he was at very early stage of ALS. That was his disease. It was devastating news for him and his family, but a few events prevented him from becoming completely despondent. So that news was very devastating, means causing a severe shock to him and his family. But some events occurred in his life, becoming completely despondent. The first of them while Hawking was still in the hospital. There, he shared a room with a boy suffering from leukemia. Leukemia means a malignant progressive disease in which the bone marrow and the other blood forming organs produce increased number of abnormal white blood cells. So that boy was suffering from this type of disease and Hawking was sharing the room with that boy. Relative to what his roommate was going through, Hawking later reflected his situation seemed more tolerable. Then after watching that boy, his roommate's situation, then Hawking realized that his situation was much more tolerable. Not long after he was released from the hospital, Hawking had a dream that he was going to be executed. And then he decided and he had a dream to be executed, but after some time he got released. He said this dream made him realize that there were still things to do with his life, and then he, after watching all the situation, then he realized that there are so many things to do in his life. In a sense, Hawking's disease helped him become the noted scientist he is today. And in real case, Hawking said that his disease helped him to become much more successful scientist today. Before the diagnosis, Hawking hadn't always focused on his studies. So he said that before he had that disease or diagnosed with that disease, he didn't focus on studies all the time. Before my condition was diagnosed, I had been very bored with life. He said that before I was diagnosed with that disease, he was not enjoying his life. He was feeling bored with his life. He said there had not seemed to be anything worth doing. And he said that he was not feeling that he was doing anything that is worth with this sudden realization that he might not even live long enough to earn his PhD, Hawking poured himself into his work and research. Then, after diagnosed with that disease, he came to know that he has not more life and no more time. So he said that he has not enough time to do his PhD. So he decided to pour himself, means he decided to work in fully concentration with his research and his work. As physical control over his body diminished, he would be forced to use a wheelchair by 1969. The effects of his disease started to slow down. So, when the physical control over his body diminished, means it was reduced, he was forced to use wheelchair by 1969, and that effects of disease started to slow down gradually. Over time, however, Hawking's ever-expanding career was accompanied by an over-worsening physical state. So, he was becoming successful in his career, and his physical status was very over-worsening, means he was suffering more and more. By the mid 1970s, the Hawking family had taken in one of Hawking's graduate students to help manage his care and work. And at the time of mid 1970s, as Hawking's situation was not so good, his family decided to keep a graduate student with him to help and manage his care and work. He could still feed himself and get out of bed, but virtually everything else required assistance. At that time, he was able to feed himself, and he was able to get out of the bed, but everything seems like he need help of someone and he required assistance. In addition, his speech had become increasingly slurred so that only those who knew him well could understand him. So after some time, that disease affected his speech also. So his speech had become increasingly slurred. So it was not clearly understood. So those people who know him very well could understand him. In 1985, he lost his voice for good following a tracheotomy. So in 1985, he lost his total voice, and tracheotomy means an incision in the windpipe made to relieve an obstruction to breathing. So in case of breathing, he lost his voice in 1985. The resulting situation required 24-hour nursing care for the acclaimed physicist. So after all these happened, as a result, he need a complete care, nursing care for 24 hours. It also put in a peril Hawking's ability to do his work. Peril means serious and immediate danger. So this situation put in danger Hawking's ability to do his work. The predicament caught the attention of a California computer programmer who had developed a speaking program that could be directed by head or eye movement. Then, uh, one person from California computer programmer who was a California computer programmer, he developed a speaking program that could be directed by head or eye movement. The invention allowed Hawking to select words on a computer screen that were then passed through a speech synthesizer. And that machine, that invention allowed Hawking to select word from computer screen, and they were passed through a speech synthesizer. At the time of its introduction, Hawking, who still had use of his fingers, selected his words with a handheld clicker. So at that time when this invention was introduced, Hawking was able to move his fingers. So he could select the words with handheld clicker. Today, with the virtually all control of his body gone, Hawking directs the program through a cheek muscle attached to a sensor. Then the situation got worse, and today, means at the time when this lesson is written, he virtually controlled his body gone. He had no control over his body. So he operated that machine through the cheek muscles attached to a sensor. Sensor means a device which detects or measures a physical property, and records, indicates or otherwise respond to it. Through the program and the help of assistants, Stephen Hawking has continued to write at a prolific rate. So with the help of his assistants and the program, he continued to work with write a prolific rate. His work has included numerous scientific papers, of course, but also information for the non-scientific community. His work has includes many scientific papers and he wrote many information regarding science, but also the information for non-scientific community, means those people who had not much aware about the science. Hawking's health, of course, remains a constant concern, a worry that has heightened in 2009 when he failed to appear at a conference in Arizona because of a chest infection. As his disease, his health, of course, remains a constant concern for everyone. And it was worry was heightened when he was diagnosed with chest infection and he could not appear in a conference in Arizona in 2009. In April, Hawking, who had already announced he was retiring after 30 years from the post of Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at Cambridge, was rushed to the hospital for being what university officials described as gravely ill. So, in April, Hawking announced that he is going to retire after 30 years from his post of a professor, Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at Cambridge, when he has to go to hospital and the university described that situation as gravely ill. It was later announced that he was expected to make a full recovery, and after that the announcement was done that he was recovered fully. Gravely ill means seriously ill. Now, Stephen Hawking is no more. He died on 40th March 2018 at the age of 76, and he used to say, "No one directs the universe." He was such a great scientist of the ages. Now, we are finishing our unit.